On the day of the Divine Blessing ceremony, no one expected that the Ryan family's biggest gamble would turn into a disaster. Young Lucas stood up to Ryan altar, holding in his hand the sword which was said to be the sword of Vulcani's fire god. As soon as the blade touches the altar, the sky changes color and the crowd holds its breath, thinking that some great blessing is about to come. But the next moment flames burst around Lucas. His soul gets scorched, so she becomes ash and Lucas collapses and falls unconscious. Does matter. While Julia cries and her father keeps asking for answers. At the same time, in the other world, a boy who had already lost his father was being pushed around again and again by others. Still, he was living for his mother and little sister. While returning home, Trucan hits him and he feels his consciousness fading. He makes his last wish while bleeding on the road. If he gets next life, he wants to protect those people with his hands, those he loves. His soul leaves his body and enters Larcus's broken body. In the domain of Vulcanus, the fire god rages on the unforgivable sword. Then he sneers and says that this foreign soul is trash and is not even worth burning again. But the spirits in the martial god's domain have a different reaction. They consider Larcus as their duty and fire the martial god's blessing at him like a weapon. They push it beyond the limits. Him heist give blessings and break the old level limit. Luck wakes up. Memories of two lives are colliding in his mind. He is terrified that he might be considered an abundant child by the gods. Just then Julia comes rushing. She hugs him tightly and cryingly says that everyone had said that she would never wake up. Lucas pats his head, makes his breathing steady and takes a quiet wow in his mind. When he's got a second chance, he'll protect everything that's important to him is precious. Lucas looks to Sky to do this, as if Marshall is telling God that he is now counting on him. At the same time, a demon who was once turned into a statue, suddenly she becomes alive again because she realizes that Martial God is no longer active in this world. Blood is dripping from his body. She tries to regain her strength and realizes that she still has very little power left. Yet it doesn't matter to him because he is sure that as long as Martial God he is not active, this world belongs to him and his emissaries. 9 years later appears in Luck's family state. He is on his way to pick up his sister from training when she is ambushed. Suddenly a third wind takes hold of him and he immediately realizes that only one person can do it, and that is Jeremy. Jeremy Ryan, the fourth child of the Ryan family, is a magic student who has received the level 5 blessing. That means he is Larcus's half-brother. Jeremy's attendant also makes fun of Lucas, saying that he just was not kicked out of the house. Jeremy tells Lucas to stop coming to the backyard as it is reserved for family members who can use magic. He threatens to break some of Larcus's bonuses if he doesn't comply so that he learns a lesson. As the wine tightens, Lucas screams in pain and tells Jeremy that his sister's magic practice is over and she will be back soon. Larcus tells him to leave if he doesn't want to be charred. Jeremy is scared but then also makes fun of Larcus that he depends on his sister. Jeremy tries to be tough. He says that he is not afraid of lightning and he has not even finished talking when suddenly lightning strikes. Jeremy screams in pain and falls to the ground. His attendant screams in panic and then Julia appears in the distance. Julia picks up her magic staff and tells Jeremy that the next time he bullies her brother, she won't hold back. Then she frees Larcus by removing the wines with her magic. Lucas pats his sister on the head, telling her good job. Then Jeremy can barely get up. Larcus makes fun of him and says that if you want to avoid such humiliation next time, then learn a lesson. Jeremy and his attendant run away, but while leaving he says that he will remember this insult. Lucas smiles and tells Julia that he really held back because Jeremy still had the strength to run. Of their departure, Julia later asks Lucas why he didn't fight back, because she knows that Lucas can defeat Jeremy on his own. Larcus reminds him that his true strength is still a secret between the two of them. Then he says teasingly that his sister will protect him and Julia accepts it smilingly. Larcus then remembers that exactly 9 years ago, the day he woke up for the first time, was the day his second life began. It seems that day his father came to meet. Larcus was already scared that after the ceremony incident he might be thrown out of the house because he had broken the family's expectations, but this did not happen. His father hugged him and thanked God that he woke up safely. In reality, Ol leads a night order and is always on missions. Therefore, they get very little time to see their children at home. Still, he is a good father who deeply cares for his son and other children. When the whole knows, it was revealed that Lucas had started martial arts training, so they immediately sent him a letter containing all the information Lucas was going to need. Holt tells Lucas that there are old martial arts books in the library and notes that he is reaching for him. Because of this letter, Lucas made a very bold plan. For the next 6 months, Lux kept digging under his room and created a secret training ground. While the attendants always thought that where does he disappear, when the digging of the basement was going on, everyone assumed that someone was practicing earth magic. The basement he had built was divided into 4 areas: study area, training area, storage area, and a small makeshift bathroom. Because all his money was spent on the equipment of other areas, he could only take one thing for the bathroom then. After the training ground was completed, Lucas started training secretly every day. Part of his training, soaking oneself in medicinal baths, was also considered the most efficient training method. Over the next 3 years, he trained on Chaos Taming Arts, a reference book he got from the library. Because of this, he became so strong that even level 5 magical attacks were no longer a big deal for him. He felt that his defense had now taken a very solid shape. Lux decided to test his skills for the offense. He took out his sword and charged at the training dummy with blinding speed, made many cuts. He then did spear training and shattered the training dummy with his overpowered spear techniques. It was clear from this that his spear techniques had also reached a high level. After this, he started practicing fist techniques. Over the course of 9 years, he continued to improve. But he had a particular concern. According to martial arts books, practitioners reach a ceiling after one stage, where growth stops. Just to break that limitation, one way is to achieve enlightenment. But attaining enlightenment is very difficult. So many practitioners gave up. This is why martial arts practitioners are almost non-existent. Whereas martial arts should not be in any way inferior to magic, but the situation was different. He proved this when he tore a big bag full of sand with just one punch. Due to his dedication, his fish techniques also reached level 5, and it seemed as if there was no ceiling for Lucas as his levels started moving smoothly, were increasing. He believed that all this was possible because of the blessings of the martial god. That day, after training, Lucas remembered that his father was coming home that day and the whole family was going to have dinner together. After washing up, he reached the dining table. Her father smilingly said that it had been 6 months since they met and asked her to sit. Lucas calmly sat in his seat while Jeremy remained in his place fuming. Hole told that Ellen Magic School, a martial the arts department, is opening and he has already applied to Lucas as a special major. Holt admitted that martial arts are very difficult, but he was confident that his son could do it and told Lucas to prepare well for next week's entrance exam. Lucas smiled and thanked his father for the opportunity. Deep inside, Lucas wondered which world he might be in. He will protect those who fight for him are important. But at the same time, he was trying very hard not to stand out too much because he didn't want to attract unnecessary trouble. Then suddenly Julia raised her hand and told her father that she also wanted to enter Alan's magic school along with the Lucas. Holt praised her attitude but told her that she was only 11 years old and too young to enroll. Then Julia told that there is also an elite course in the school and there is no age restriction in it. Julia immediately she takes out the letter which she had received from the school, in which it was written that she can take the elite course. Hole gets surprised to hear this, but at the same time they understand that Julia's reputation must have reached the school. Lucas maid smiles beautifully and says a great majesty is soon to be born from the Ryan family. Hearing this, Julia laughs, while Jeremy is burning with anger. Their father tells both of them that he wants both of them to pass the exam. Jeremy is very irritated inside. This happens because he feels Lucas is getting special treatment, whereas there is nothing special in it. Then Jessica helps him by touching his shoulder and tells him to get his work done because there is no assurance that Lux will pass the exam. 1 week later, Lucas and Julia prepare to go to the academy. His mother tells him to take care of himself and promises that she will visit him once he gets settled in school. She also gives Lucas a lucky coin which was given to him by his father. Is told that this coin belongs to the martial fortune dynasty that unified the world about 10,000 years ago. Hole explains that he found this coin after defeating a magical beast. The coin has an image of the first Emperor Mars on its front and the weapons he used are engraved on the back. When Lucas first saw this, he realized that Mars was the martial spirit god. As they leave, Holt tells Lucas to keep this coin with him at all times. Lucas thinks he is true. I am lucky because I have got a good family in this life as well as in my previous life. After several hours of traveling, Butler Forden suggests they set up camp in a nearby clearing as the sun is soon to set. While resting and preparing to eat, Forden explains that if they leave early in the morning, they will reach Dakan, where the school is located, by the next nightfall. Julia gets excited after hearing this and asks if there is anything interesting in Ducktown. Forden tells that town is famous for the magical dodgeball tournament held every spring. Apart from this, he also tells that this town is also famous as a gourmet town. Hearing this, Julia's eyes sparkle and she starts imagining how many tasty things she is going to eat. Suddenly, Lucas's senses become alert and he realizes that 12 hoses and 13 people are about 2 km away, moving towards them at high speed from a distance. Lucas asks if band-aids are visible in this area. Forden he says that yes, but the possibility of colliding with them is very low. Actually, Lucas felt this danger because of the chaos tapping arts. His senses had now become so sharp that he was completely sure that he was not making a mistake. He analyzes the situation and realizes that they are heavily outnumbered, therefore it has to be handled very carefully. Lucas stands up and tells Forden that they should prepare as a mysterious group is approaching them at incredible speed. With them, the 2 soldiers present are surprised to hear this as everything around was quiet and they think that perhaps Lucas is joking. Forden is also surprised at first but still takes out his sword and asks the others to prepare their weapons. He had some doubts but he believes that it is better to be cautious rather than regretting later. Moments later, the bandits arrive and the soldiers realize that Lucas was not lying. The band leader got excited and started laughing, moves towards the group and says that they have found a new prey. They spot Lucas and Julia standing behind the soldiers and immediately target them. Forden angrily warns the bandits about the consequences of touching the nobles, but the band leader says he doesn't care. He orders his men to kill the soldiers and leave the children alive. Ford and the soldiers get ready to fight. Initially, soldiers hold up well against bandits. Forden won. He also cuts off the head of the bandit who had come too close to him and the children. Julia wanted to help, but Forden tells him to let the fight handle him. Forden and the soldiers continue to push the bandits back. But to avoid any major danger, Ford tells Lucas to run away with Julia and suddenly the soldiers burst into flames due to the power of a table. It is soon revealed that the bandit leader is a table and all of Forden's strategy immediately goes to waste. Forden fears for the children's safety and yells at Lucas to immediately run away into the forest with Julia. During that brief distraction, a bandit stabs Forden in the chest, instantly reducing his efficiency. The bandit leader laughs and says that he will burn Forden alive to avenge his dead comrade. But Forden is not afraid, he is ready to give his life. Just make sure Lucas and Julia are safe. Here Lucas had understood that the table in presence of Ford he cannot win against bandits. He wanted to keep his abilities hidden. But he remembered that apart from his parents, Forden was the only person who had shown the most kindness towards him. Now Lucas had started considering him as family and he could not stand idly by and watch his family die. Lucas tells Julia to become hide and Julia immediately agrees. After this, Lucas quietly takes his position. Forden was still fighting against the bandits. But then because of the exhaust he falls on his knees. A bandit was about to jump from behind and kill him with a sword when suddenly his head gets severed from the body. The bandits look around in shock and in the next moment several more bandits are killed by high-speed projectiles. No one understands where the attacks are coming from. But it was all Lucas's doing. Lucas was happy that he had upgraded the Gale Strike skill to level 4 when he used to practice hitting flying birds with stones. Now for that level 1 bandit hitting pebbles was child's play. Seeing his comrades dying one by one, the bandit leader angrily picks up his staff and launches a large fireball at Forden. Forden sees the attack coming towards him, but he was too tired to dodge and thought that perhaps some mysterious helper was protecting the children, so he can finally rest. Then Lucas comes in front and cancels that fireball. Forden is shocked as he never thought that Lucas was so powerful. Bandit the leader also gets shocked but thinks he can cast another spell. Lucas tells him in a calm voice that his journey ends here and in the next moment breaks his chest with a powerful blow. After the death of the band leader, Forden is unable to understand what just happened. It was completely uncharacteristic of him to kill a high-level tableau like this. But Lucas just turns and smiles and says that he seems to have some talent for martial arts. Forden was still standing with him when a sinister approach came from behind them. Presence is felt. The band leader's body pieces suddenly start moving and take the form of a terrifying monster. Her appearance was so scary that Lucas knew immediately that he had to end it quickly so that Julia would not see it. Without wasting any time, Lucas jumps on the monster and throws a punch. But it does not suffer any damage. The monster counterattacks by throwing spikes, due to which Lucas has to jump back. Then he starts powering himself up by eating the dead bodies of the monster bandages. Lux, all-seeing, uses his eyes and sees Insignia, who was controlling the monster. Within moments he transforms into a jointed four-legged monster. Finding physical attacks useless, Lucas charges himself with explosive Kai and delivers a powerful strike at the monster. A bright golden light erupts which engulfs the monster completely and destroys its core. As soon as the monster is over, Lucas sits up and starts breathing, and Julia runs to him and hugs him. She praises her brother that he defeated the bad guys. Ford was still standing stunned on the other side because he was still unable to understand what he had seen. Then suddenly a bandit's horse starts neighing loudly, which draws everyone's attention towards him. When they look back, they find a girl tied to a horse, which shocks everyone. On the other hand, the demon from 9 years ago was continuously getting stronger, and at the same time he gets a signal that one of his emissaries has been defeated. She wonders who might have killed him, but Moore doesn't worry because right now her focus is recovering its power. Back at camp, Julia learns that the girl they rescued is named Maya Rasta. When Forden hears the name Rasta, he says that he has heard this name before somewhere, and Julia says the same. Larkers tells that Rasta and Ryan families are both dark noble families living near Tatonnar. Julia immediately confirms that Lucas he is saying right. Julia asks Maya why did the bandits attack him. Maya tells her story with tears in her eyes. A few hours ago, bandits suddenly attacked his carriage. Her guards were killed and her maid tried to save her, but its end is very bad happened. Maya tells that he repeatedly said that he is a noble, but the bandits did not listen. Actually, their target was to kidnap noble children. Julia consoles him and tells him that there is no need to be afraid because the bandits are dead. That night, after both girls fall asleep, Lucas asks Forden what he thinks about Maya's words. Forden says the bandits appear to be habitual offenders and have been targeting noble children for a long time. Lucas says maybe some demon is helping them because it is very strange for them to use magic and control dead bodies. Forden assures him that he will report this to Matterhole and that the Rasta family can also help them. Lucas tells Ford that he has a suggestion to avoid future trouble. The next day they reach Dak Taton. Lucas tells Julia that they will not do side watching to avoid trouble. He explains that there may still be band-aids nearby. Therefore, it would be safer to go straight to magic school. Julia Little is disappointed, but Larkers says it is for his and Maya's safety. Maya leads with lust, but Julia is still a little angry. To cheer her up, Larkers says he will buy her anything she wants from the gourmet district. Julia becomes happy hearing this, and Maya is surprised to see the closeness of the brother and sister. Forden suggests they open the carriage window to get a view of the town. Julia immediately agrees and is stunned by the beauty of the town. Maya also says how lively the town is. Larkers also agrees in his mind because this place reminds him of the city of his past life. While passing through the food center, Larkers keeps his promise to his sister and buys all the food of her choice. After some time, they reach the gate of the academy and Forden tells that he can come only here. Lucas tells him not to worry because he will protect Julia. Julia jumps with joy and says that she will also protect Lucas, and Lucas smiling, he says he is counting on her. While taking leave, Larkers has tears in his eyes. Maya is also happy that she met Lucas and Julia because she finds them both very interesting siblings. In fact, last night Forden had told Lucas that Maya was once his fiancée, but after the ceremony, when Larkers was considered talentless, the engagement was cancelled. Allen Magic School is located south of Ducktown and is one of the 3 most prestigious schools in the Kamina Empire. There is one. All new students have to give an exam after 1 year of enrollment, and based on the results they are divided into Earth Department, Fire Department, Wind Department, Water Department, and Special Department. If a student studies for 6 years in the academy and graduates successfully, then he gets a major qualification. There was another rule in the academy. Excellent students also got special treatment. And if a student uses the table during his studies, if he passes the examination, then he does not need to wait till the 6th year. He may graduate early. Meanwhile, Lucas and Julia appear in the school plaza. Julia, a little sad, says that Maya left because she has reunited with her family. Julia had thought that both of them would give the exam together. Larkus smiles and says that it is a good thing that Maya returned to her home. Now he is safe. He explains to Julia that if they pass the exam, they will meet every day as classmates, so there is no need to be sad. Hearing this, Julia's mood becomes good again because she knows Lucas is right. While running around the plaza, Julia catches almost everyone's attention because she is so small and cute. After some time, he meets Mina, who is the vice president of the student council. Mina had a cool personality and she immediately takes interest in Julia. She asks if Julia has just come with her brother, but Julia tells that she also have come to give exam. Hearing this, Mina gets shocked and immediately understands that this is the girl who has been given the elite course. Mina asks if he is from the Ryan family and Julia is surprised and asks how does she know this. Mina smiles and says that she will know soon and asks them to follow her to the reception desk. Lucas notices that Mina hasn't said a word to him as if he is invisible. Then Julia reminds Mina that her brother also has to register. Mina suddenly remembers she is a little nervous and asks Larkus about the martial arts department exam. As soon as she says this, the attention of the students standing nearby goes towards her. Many people start making fun of Larkus behind his back. It is said that martial arts is stupidity. A student laughs and says how hilarious it is to come to a magic school to learn martial arts. Larkus is a little surprised that even here people are looking down on him. He knows that Majors considers himself a martial artist, consider superior. But in his eyes they are not as powerful as they think. It was clear in Larkus's mind that if it was not his parents' wish then there was no need for him to come here. Mina realizes that Lucas got backlash because he mentioned martial arts out loud. She immediately takes care of the matter and says that after registration, she will herself take him to the exam venue. Hearing this, Larkus is a little surprised and understands that Mina is a genuinely kind person, different from others. The students, who were ignoring Larkus till now, are shocked to see Mina talking to him casually. After some time, Mina takes their registration forms and gives them emblems, stating that their exam numbers are stuck on it and it is necessary to wear them while entering the exam venue. Mina tells that there are total 3 test items. The first test is to measure magical potential with magic light. The second is a compatibility test in which different attribute spirits with the help it is seen which element the examinee is most compatible with. The third test is to measure magical destructive power on dummy dolls. Larkus asks if martial arts examinees follow the same process. Mina says that for fairness, these are the tests for all the departments. Larkus thinks in his mind that if there was true fairness, a separate test would have been created for martial arts. But he was not worried. He had decided that by showing a little power he would break the prejudice against martial arts. Will give. After some time they reach the potential measurement area. The candidates were placing their hands on the magic light one by one. When Larkus's turn comes and he touches the light, the results show 0. Seeing this, even the examiner gets shocked because such a phenomenon happens only once in about 1,000 years. As soon as Lux's result comes to 0, the students standing around start making fun of him, but Lucas is not worried at all because he had already expected this. After a while, Julia ahead grows and touches the magic light. The orb emits bright purple light indicating a potential value out of 10. Even the examiner believes that Julia will be among the top examinees of this year. Everyone else was a surprise, but not at all because he knew his sister's capabilities. Lucas gently tells Julia not to hold back. Julia nods and releases more mana into the orbi. Immediately the light turns golden and the entire hall remains stunted. The examiner would understand how talented Julia is because 2 years ago a student had shown the golden light but she was much older than Julia. After the test is over, Julia runs to Lucas and smilingly asks if he was amazing. Larkus puts his hand on her head and says that she is really amazing and will become an archmaster in future. Meanwhile, a candidate makes fun of Larkus, says he is talentless and is the elder brother of a genius Maz. His friend immediately shuts his mouth and says that it is useless. Don't talk. Don't know what would happen if his sister hears it. Hearing this, Lucas is happy inside because everything was going according to his plan. He wanted Julia to be in the limelight so that he himself could live a peaceful student life. For the last 3 years, he had been busy enhancing Julia's talent and now his efforts were paying off. After the potency measurement is over, all the candidates are taken to the spirit hut, where their compatibility test was to be conducted. Larkus thinks in his mind that today his efforts are going to bloom. As soon as the test begins, all the spirits gather around Julia, due to which the other students get shocked. A student who received the level 6 wind god blessing. Frustrated, he says that not even a single wind spirit came in his test. Everyone seems to think that Julia is compatible with all the elements. Actually, Larkers also had a hand in this because he had created a maze circulation technique for Julia which increased her potential. Julia was still level 2 but Lucas knew that this is enough to pass the entrance exam. The examiner announces that Julia's compatibility score is 90, which was the highest among all the examinees. The examiner congratulates him, but when Julia turns, she sees that many students are staring at her with strange eyes. She gets scared and comes to Larkers saying that she is scared. Larkers explains to him that being a genius, this is normal and he has to get used to it. Julia nods and says that she will be strong so that she can protect Lucas. Code. Inside, Lucas is a little worried about his sister and thinks that it is important to make her mentally strong. Here everyone was praising Julia but at the same time they were also making fun of Lucas by calling him talentless. During the compatibility test the spirits did not even come near her as if they were disgusted by her. But a student tells his friend that something strange happened during the test. He tells that after Larkers came out, he saw a fire spirit with a severed hand which frightened him. His friend believes in this doesn't because spirits are very small and it is almost impossible to see a tiny hand flying. Larkers is a little surprised to hear this because someone actually noticed that scene. Actually, that student was right. During the test, the fire spirits showed a hostile attitude towards Lucas. Maybe it was all because Larkers was rejected by the fire god. When Lucas was leaving after the compatibility test, a spirit spit on him because he had a grudge against him. But Larkers silently blows his arm off with pebble and punishes him for his evil doing, without anyone knowing. After the test is over, Lucas tells Julia that now let's go to the final testing area and he smiles and asks if she will be able to take first place this time too. Julia politely says that the first place is hers unless her brother goes all out. Larkers laughs and says that he is not even thinking of going all out because the plan is that Julia will protect him. Soon they reach the magic destructive power test venue, where many metal dummy dolls were kept. Lucas overhears some students saying that they will attack with all their might so that Julia cannot take first place. One student says that perhaps Julia can destroy the doll, but another says that it is impossible because the dolls are made of special metal and defensive magic and can withstand attacks below the caste class. Lucas looks at the dolls carefully and thinks that they are quite sturdy and that level 6 could be a good opportunity to test your skills. He believes in his heart that coming to school was not a bad decision because here he is getting a chance to practice on expensive equipment. Then some students behind tell a newly arrived girl not to break the line. The girl activates her magic and releases such an overwhelming aura that the girl standing in front of her starts trembling with fear. Then she comes to Julia and Lucas and uses mental magic on Julia, which causes Julia to get scared and hide behind Lucas and says that the girl is scary. Larkers asks him who he is. She replies that she is Arya Miranda, granddaughter of Duke Miranda. Upon hearing this, Larkers realizes who it is, as the Miranda family is one of the 3 great houses of the northern region of the Empire and is the clan that once produced the legendary mage. This means Arya is the daughter of Son Miranda, her mother's younger brother. Lucas asks her how old she is, and she says with a stern face that she is 15 years old. Lucas tells him don't stare at him like that because they are cousins. Arya is shocked to hear this because she was never told that she had cousins. She then decides to embrace Larkers in front of everyone and uses mental magic to make him embrace himself out of fear. But Larkers doesn't move at all. Seeing this, Arya remains stunned. Larkers scolds him about what kind of education it is to use mental magic on a family member he meets for the first time. Lucas mocks him and asks if Miranda is a family. What kind of training does it provide? Arya was surprised that even her best magic could not work on Larkers. While Larkers was thinking in his mind that it was impossible to control a strong wild martial artist with such flimsy magic. After some time, Larkers is called for the test. As she leaves, Arya tells Julia not to be too cocky because she's going to take first place. Lucas looks at the leaderboard and realizes that Arya is in second place. That means she has come to challenge Julia. Determines luck, he says he has to intervene because he can't let Julia lose first place. Lucas comes back to Julia and gives her a candy. Julia happily eats it, but it is actually a medicinal pill which was very bitter. Larkers puts his hand on his head and says that this is special magic medicine. It is made from rare ingredients and soon he will understand its effect. The examiner then calls Larkers and tells him to come to the test arena. Upon reaching the arena, the examiner instructs him to but attack with your full magical power so that its final grade can be determined by measuring the destructive force because Larkers could not use magic. He asked the examiner if he could use physical attack. On hearing this, the other students started laughing. They felt that testing using physical strikes was a barbaric method and started making fun of martial artists. One student said that Larkers would break his arm and die there. When they were all making fun, Julia gave him a side-eye stare which made them become silent immediately. Julia was angry inside because if Lucas had not told her to behave, she would have taught them all a lesson. Then Iwa asks Julia if Larkers really can't use magic because she doesn't believe that anyone without magic can stop his mental magic. Julia says that her brother can't really use magic, but he is still amazing. Iowa is not ready to accept it and thinks that Julia is being tricked by her brother because according to her, he is a martial artist, can't do anything special. Suddenly there is a huge explosion in the test area and everyone is shocked. 2 minutes earlier, examiner told Lux that the method of attack does not matter. Lucas takes a position and dashes towards the dummy and delivers a powerful punch which sends the dummy flying away and hits the wall and golden light starts shining on its head. Iowa is shocked to see this as Lux's speed was like high-ranking wind magic and the golden glow meant that the attack was of tiered class power. Remaining candidates even they cannot believe that a boy who is considered talentless can damage a dummy. Iowa realizes that she is the only one who has noticed Larkers' true abilities and also realizes that Larkers is deliberately hiding his strengths since he is not even breaking. The examiner feels that a dummy malfunction has occurred, but he gives Larkers a perfect score. Larkers says thanks and asks where to keep the fallen dummy. But the examiner says that it is very heavy and will have to be lifted with magic. Of Luck's screen makes a peace sign on the side and shows it to Julia, happy that he had managed to score high enough for admission while hiding his strengths. The exams proceed and people forget about Luck and start talking about Julia's talent. When Julia's turn comes, she releases red lightning which is considered the most powerful after gold thunder. The students are surprised and one student says that he wishes he could reach Julia's current level before graduation. Julia's results is 9.5 announced. To my brother returning, she talks about red lightning. She says that previously she could only create purple lightning even at full force. He didn't know that the pill given by Larkers had boosted his strength and Larkers didn't even tell him this. In this world, both mages and martial artists have their own pharmaceutical skills. Mages do potion alchemy, whereas martial artists do refinement. Magic potions always need a medium, but martial pills can be absorbed directly into the body. Early such pills were quite common, but after the decline of martial arts, then refining almost became a law practice, creating a magic storage pill that can boost someone's abilities. Very rare because it requires the martial artist to reach at least level 6. There's only one person in the entire empire besides Larkers who can do this, Duke Arsujin, a level 9 martial artist who is the Minister of Martial Affairs. In fact, even the greatest mages of the empire bow before Ryujin and ask for magic pills. If Larkers came to know that even Larkers could make such pills, it could create huge chaos. Therefore it was necessary to keep this thing secret. After a while, Lucas and Julia were sitting on a bench and resting. Larkers tells her that she will be well rested when they go to the domes after class assignments. Just then Mina comes there. Larkers asks what is she doing here? Mina tells that she has come to announce the class assignments and she congratulates both of them that Julia came first in the elite class and Lucas first in martial arts class. Hearing this, Julia jumps with joy and Lucas smiles and congratulates her. He also jokingly says that now he will count on her. Mina then asks Julia which department she would like to go to next year, which leaves Julia confused. Mina explains that there are 5 departments in the academy: Earth, Fire, Wind, Water and Special. And after 1 year, students are divided into these on the basis of tests. After thinking a little, Julia says that because of her attributes accordingly, the Wind department will be fine. Mina gets excited and says that this is a perfect choice, especially because Julia has received the blessings of Thunder God. Mina happily holds Julia and starts shaking her and says that she will wait for her in the Wind department. Lucas is surprised to see that departments are already trying to secure top talent Julia. Mina offers to take Julia to the girls' dome. Julia says goodbye to her brother and says she will come later. We'll meet. Larkers waves him off and asks Mina to take care of him. On the other hand, Iowa sees the results and understands that Julia has come first. Still, she is not ready to accept defeat and thinks that she will take first place in the coming years. Here Larkus reaches the martial arts department. He wasn't expecting much, but one becomes completely disappointed after seeing the building because it looked like a dilapidated rat house that was about to collapse. Although Larkus thinks that at least here he will be able to live in peace and no one will bother him. Inside the building she meets a white-headed boy who excitedly reveals his name is Kai and says he too is in the martial arts department. Larkus shakes hands with her and moves towards the registration desk. But Kai continues to stick with him and praise his dummy punch. Larkus politely says that there was nothing special about him. It was just luck. The attendant tells them that they will stay in rooms 2 and 5. That means Kay and Lucas will be roommates. A lot of Moss excited, but Larkus was already feeling a little nervous. While passing through the lobby they realize that the situation is worse than they thought. After reaching the room, we come to know that 2 more boys live there. Collins and Sharp. The room was as dirty as if a pig had lived there before. Kai holds his nose and almost faints after seeing the spider hanging from the wall. Frustrated, Kai takes out a gold coin and says that he will give this coin to whoever cleans the room. Collins and Sharp get ready immediately. Let's go. Larkus is not surprised because both were commoners and this money meant a lot to them. While they were cleaning up, Kay was venting his frustration, saying that he didn't sign up to live in a place like this. Larkus calms him down and says that considering the reputation of the school, the situation will gradually improve. Kai agrees. But then another spider comes near him and he screams like a girl, saying that this Dom is no less than a progeny. His gets the share. Kai was definitely an agent, but I have to admit that he was also quite generous. Then the attendant comes with the uniforms and asks everyone to change quickly and reach the entrance ceremony in the hall. Kai gets angry again after seeing the uniforms because they were dirty and tattered, whereas Collins and Sharp think they are fine. Lucas tells Kai that the school has a system to hear student requests and if they complain, maybe the uniforms can be changed. On hearing this, Kai immediately went to the hall. Ko says and Lucas is mentally surprised at his gullibility. After some time, Lucas and his roommates reach the hall. Collins is stunned to see the luxury of the hall, while Kai says that it is not as grand as his house. Larkus tries to find his sister. Kai then tells that the elite core students are sitting in the front row and Julia will probably be there. He also notices that their uniforms are different and suggests that Larkus meet his sister before the ceremony begins, because martial arts students sit far back, but Larkus refuses and asks to return to his seat. Although inside he was happy to see Julia in that prestigious uniform. As they sit down, Larkus notices a girl nearby who was probably from the martial arts department. After a while, student council president Theodore arrives in formal stylish style and explains the school's point system. Students are impressed by his presence and the fact that he is close to graduation, has already reached level 6. Theodore explains that points can be used to gain access to magic skills, rare books, magical beasts, and guidance from masters. Labor gets very few points, therefore it is better to participate in events. Student council members also get monthly points, and monster hunting is the most risky but rewarding way because of the magical beast mountain range behind the school. Upon hearing this, Larkus becomes immediately interested as he finds it to be the perfect training ground. Many hours later, he lights the tranquility incense to put his roommates into deep sleep and quietly leaves the room. After reaching the back of the school, he sees a high wall, but easily crosses it and lands in the magical forest. There he first encounters a horned frog monster. While playing with her, Larkus removes her horn and leaves her incited. The horns of the poisonous black horned frog are used to make magic potions, and Larkus thinks this will give him good points. To Latza, it was revealed that the Academy's collection also contained legendary martial arts manuals that were said to contain the same techniques once used by the martial god. To get these he had to earn points, so he didn't want to waste time in Magical Beast Mountain. With his overpowered eyes he started identifying the location of nearby beasts. Level 1 Shell Mouse, Level 2 One-Eye Bat, Level 3 Magic Crest, Leopard all were no threat to him. He one-shots them easily. He kept doing it, and within a short time he collected a big haul of materials. He was confident that by exchanging them he would get the points and the ingredients for Dan refining. Yet Lucas was not satisfied as the entire area was unusually haunted and there were very few traces of magical beasts. He suspected that some powerful beast was holding territory here. Using his sharp senses he searched and found the beast hidden in a cave. At the same time, the beast had also sensed Lucas. But without stopping, he dashed towards that cave. Upon reaching there, he saw that it was a level 6 ice fire wolf who looked very dangerous. Larkers understood that the strong territorial sense was because he was a wolf, but being a battle maniac, he immediately pounced on him. Wolf released ice breath which froze Larkers' right arm. Still, Lux punches his jaw and blows him away. He was a little disappointed that he could not make a hole in the body. But excited to train, he asked Wolf to get up. Wolf stood up and released fire breath this time. Larkers burst into flames and Wolf maintained fire for several minutes. She thought Lucas was dead. But as soon as he started howling victory, Lucas was standing behind him. The cheese-filled punch forced Wolf to vomit blood and throw him away. Larkers praised him for skillfully using opposing attributes like fire and ice. But to Wolf, Lux seemed like a horror. Wolf attacked them by combining ice and fire. Lux dispels him gave. Wolf started running, but Larkers caught hold of his tail and slammed him hard. During the fight, Lucas did not feel any danger but was accelerated. Suddenly Wolf threw him into the wall with a wave blast and released powerful flame breath, but Larkers dodged and closed the gap by passing through the flames. Larkers hit such a punch that the ground broke and a massive shockwave came out. Then another punch fell on the head. Wolf understood that if the fight continued, his death was certain. As a last resort, he surrendered gave. He bent down and took out a blue-red core. Larkers was shocked to see this because some magical beasts in this world are born with a core. A beast core is a rare magical material that becomes that beast's lifetime power source, but if even a drop of human blood is found in it, then that magical beast becomes subordinate to that person. After Wolf left the course, Larkers understood that he wanted to make himself his subordinate. Larkers accepts this as a rare opportunity because he is a level 6 subordinate magical. Finding the beasts is uncommon even for mages. However, he also feels that the wolf is not very intelligent because strong beasts are usually proud and do not bow down to humans. Larkers drops a drop of his blood on the course. The light flashes and then the wolf swallows the course. Suddenly someone calls Larkers as master and he is shocked. Wolf explains that he is the one talking to him. Larkers realizes that he can now understand her language. He is happy and names him Yoru. Now after becoming master, Larkers thinks that the things in the territory will also be his. He asks if Yoru has collected any useful treasure. Yoru takes him inside the cave, where Pes, Bonus and gemstones were lying. Larkers becomes happy seeing this. But Yoru tells that it is not the real treasure. The original treasure also contains several level 3 beast courses and 2 level 6 courses. Yoru explains that he leveled up by taking the water and fire attribute courses. Lucas understands that to level up beasts, you need to level up by using equal or stronger beasts. Have to take courses. That means Yoru had defeated at least 2 equally equal opponents. As a reward, Larkers gives him recovery medicine and tells him to continue guarding the cave and the treasures. Yoru takes his first mission seriously. Next day, Larkers reaches the classroom. Even after staying awake the whole night, he did not feel tired because of the tranquility incense. Students start complaining that the teacher has not come yet. Kay angrily says that perhaps they forgot to assign a teacher to the martial arts department. Then a drunk man, Sigil, arrives and introduces himself as their homeroom teacher. Kay is shocked because Sigil was looking dirty and disheveled. Suddenly the signal screams so loudly that Kay becomes almost deaf. Larkers figures out that from his movements he is at least a level 5 or 6 martial artist. Sigil starts taking attendance and Tishi is the first to answer. After attendance, Sigil remembers that he forgot to bring a textbook. So he makes Tishi the class representative and sends him to bring books from his lab. Tishi is shocked and Kay angrily stands up and says that the representative should be chosen by competition and starts bragging about his pedigree. Then Sigil silences him by firing a projectile and reminds him that talking without permission is prohibited. While leaving, he asks Tishi to distribute textbooks and asks everyone to do self-study. She was proud of herself because she not only passed the entrance exam but was also made the class representative. She mutters in her mind that this opportunity will change her fate. Meanwhile, Kay is still caressing her swollen head and Lucas says that there is something strange about the teacher. Kay immediately agrees and says that they should complain to Sigil and get him fired. But Lux analyzes the situation and realizes that Sigil has suffered serious injuries in the past. That's why his movements are like this. This makes Lucas wonder how strong Sigil might have been before his injury. He tells Kai that he will not complain because he wants to see Sigil teach. What can? A few hours later, Kay and Lucas appear outside the cafeteria. Kay was constantly complaining that Sigil left him to self-study for hours. Then Lucas meets his sister and puts his hand on her head and asks how was his first class. Julia tells that her homeroom teacher Linda is very nice and she motivated her to become class representative next week. Hearing this, Kai speaks again because normally representatives are elected after a week. Julia is surprised and asks Lucas if he is the representative of the martial arts class. But Lucas refuses and suggests going to eat. Meals in the cafeteria were also available through points system. New students could avail points by paying cash once, but the exchange rate was different according to the department. Julie got a good mile, but martial arts students got very few points. Kai angrily says that even teachers are discriminating. A teacher replies that there is no status in school, only points matter. While eating dry bread, Kai says that studying here is like giving up human rights. Julia offers him her food and Kai has tears in his eyes. He says Julia is very kind. After some time, Maya comes and gives cookies as thanks. Julia happily takes it. Lucas also tastes and praises her baking. Kai also takes the cookies and says that they taste like the Troy family's sweets. Kai jokingly teases Lucas about how he can date such a beautiful girl nose, and Lucas remains silent because he cannot tell the truth. After Maya leaves, Lucas takes a sigh of relief and realizes that the cafeteria is a place to meet familiar faces, as he thought. Mina also comes there, and after some time Thao shows his aura by flying with fire magic. Lucas realizes that he likes to show off and remembers that he uses it with the help of level 6 magic medicine. That's why Lucas doesn't give him much respect. Then Lucas sees Sigil leaving the cafeteria and wonders where he is going. On the other hand, some teachers were complaining about Sigil's bad habits, but some people also had sympathy for him because they knew that he had changed like this only after one incident. Sigil joins the rest of the teachers and the headmaster after some time. As the meeting begins, the headmaster explains that today's agenda is the magical beast taming tournament. Attacks by magical beasts are common in the Kamina Empire, therefore taming skills are considered essential. And that's why every year at Allen Magic School, this tournament takes place. Julia's homeroom teacher, Linda, explains that more than 2,000 level 1 magical beasts have been prepared for the competition and suggests that the tournament be held 6 days later than usual. Then teacher Greg says that the tournament is fine, but martial arts students should not participate because they will not be able to stand against the magical beasts. Sigil immediately disagrees. Greg tries to be cool, but Linda interjects to support Sigil and says that the new being students, martial arts students, also have the right to participate. Another teacher agrees that all students should be treated equally. Greg was angry inside because he couldn't believe that some people still supported Sigil. Especially Linda, after all she has to back down. Although he thinks martial arts students will cry after seeing the monsters. The headmaster announces that martial arts students will also participate in the tournament. After the meeting, some teachers ask Linda if she really agrees with the decision to send martial arts students to the tournament, because there was some truth in what Greg said. Linda smiles and says that a long time ago, someone taught her that one who does not have the courage to face difficulties does not deserve to call himself a martial artist, and that person was Sigil. She also reveals that Sigil himself will expel any student who refuses to participate in the tournament from the department. Sigil back in class tells the students about the tournament and says that from now on they will be doing combat training so that they can all be capable of fighting magical beasts. Kai then brings up the topic of class representative and says that tournaments are usually held to choose representatives. But Sigil then silences him by hitting him on the head. Lucas was thinking about training and was worried about how he would control his strength in sparring. Reaching the training ground, Lucas observes Tish for a while and realizes that he is very strong and is probably the only one in the class who is slightly less strong than him. This makes Lucas realize that Sigil has created him with representative thinking in mind. After hours of training, the lunch bell rings and Sigil announces the end of training. Kai breathes a sigh of relief. While Collins and Sharp talk about going to coffee, Collins tells him he will bring food for Kai as he promised. Sharp is surprised and asks if he made a deal with Kai. Kai tells that he gave Collins 2 gave coins and asked to bring food worth 2 points in return. In this way Collins saves coins and points, which is a win-win for both. Hearing this, Sharp regrets that if he had known earlier, he too would have made this deal. Collins smiles and tells Sharp that he will let him have the deal next time. Deep down, Lucas understands that Collins is very smart because he is both earning pocket money and keeping human relations smooth. Kai then comes to Lucas and brags about his deal and says that he too should think like him. Lucas ignores him, which makes Kai awkward. After a while, Kai convinces himself that Lucas doesn't care about the points because his sister is in the elite course. But what Kai doesn't know is that even without Julia, Lucas will not remain hungry, because he can go to the forest and hunt beasts and prepare his own food. While roasting meat over the fire, Lucas remembers Mina trying to get close to Julia again. For this reason, he decides that he have to remain alert so that Mina's intentions remain clear. Then Lucas sees that Yuru is drooling at the sight of fine meat. Lucas laughs and gives him food too and says that after eating, the training will be over but he will go easy. Hearing this, Yuru gets scared inside. Meanwhile, at the Ryan family estate, Hole notices that Catherine is sad about her children. He tells her that he is going to Duptown for work and will take her along. Catherine is happy and hugs him. While Count Grind states most noble ladies, a meeting is going on in which Jessica is also included. The leader of the group is the same demon lady who is slowly recovering her power. The same Carly gives everyone the Jet Dream drink, which is actually her blood. As soon as she drinks the drink, her body starts glowing and she takes advantage of this desire. Later, Demon calls Lady Jessica aside and asks how Julia survived the Band-Aid attack. Jessica explains that Julia defeated the Band-Aids because of a level 7 blessing. Damon understands that Julia Miranda is a bloodline talent, but he doubts how level 7 can be so powerful, asks Jessica if she wants to become Baroness by getting Catherine and her daughter killed. Jessica says yes and Damon immediately draws his insignia on her. Takes it under control. The next morning at the academy, Tisha announces that combat training will continue. Kai and the other students complain that the training is very tedious and the whole body is sore. Tisha admits training is cruel but it is necessary for improvement. Lucas and his roommates seem fine and everyone assumes they are naturally tough. Actually, they were fresh because of the Tranquility incense. Training begins and Kai spars with Lucas. Kai charges but Lucas pushes him back. Kai thinks he's getting even, whereas Lucas is completely holding back. During the spar, Lucas realizes that someone is observing them from a distance. Really, an old man sitting under a tree is watching something carefully. Kai sees that Lucas is distracted and takes the opportunity to try to punch him, but Lucas's reflexes were very fast. He dodges easily and Kai falls to the ground. Still, Kai stands up and says that the fight will not end until a clear victor is found. Lucas then stuns and accepts the challenge. The old man watching them under the tree in the distance was Otani. While returning to the library, Mina offers him to accompany her, but he refuses. Otani had already understood that Lucas was hiding his true abilities, so he decides to observe her further. After several hours, combat training ends. Sigil taught them massage techniques to relieve their sore muscles. Lucas was happy because now everyone would forget that only he and his roommates were energetic in the morning. He decides that now a new training ground has to be built, for which materials will have to be purchased. The school's magic shop was full of rare items. Going inside, Lucas felt like he was in a mall. I have come. But after looking at the prices, he estimated that he could spend around 100 points in a month. He thinks that it would not be right to always depend on Julia, so he just buys magic potions that day and decides to exchange the materials from Yuru's cave next time. The attendant was sleeping on the counter. As Lucas laid out the items, he said the total cost was 5 points, which was a lot considering the limited points martial arts students had. When he started leaving after payment, the attendant asked him to be careful, but Lucas smiled and said that he would come back to buy more. The attendant was surprised why the martial arts student was buying portion items, but he thought that perhaps because he was noble, he was spending recklessly. Later, Lucas reaches the cave of Yuru and mixes the portions and takes a medicinal bath. After the conversation, he feels that throwing away the remaining water would be a waste, but it cannot be given to anyone to drink. Then he turns and sees that Yuru has drunk the bath water. Lucas feels disgusted at first. Then he laughs and says that this will help his body. Will also be strong. Yuru is pleased and asks for beef, and Lucas decides to exchange the materials during low traffic hours and deliver the tools to the cave at night. When purchasing a training dummy, Lux picks it up easily. The shop attendant offers help and asks him to come anytime. He feels that Larkers has got the materials from his family, so there is no doubt. Meanwhile, Siegel scolds his students not to slack off because the taming tournament is the next day and those who are not ready can drop out now. Siegel he was roaming around the training ground giving advice to those students whom he considered weak. He scolds Kay that she is too weak, but Kay argues that he has defeated Lux, Sharp and Collins. Hearing this, Siegel gives him a hard flick on the head and he sits on the ground in pain. Siegel then turns to the rest of the roommates and says that he is ashamed that they lost to a weak boy like Kay. He did not know that Sharp and Collins had lost on purpose and Lux wanted to avoid trouble. To handle the situation, Siegel asks Tishi to spar with Kai. Kai goes to the field excitedly and says that he will not hold back because he wants to prove that he is worthy of being the class representative. Kai charges blindly as the fight begins. He thinks he got hit, but Tishi easily dodges and counter-attacks on his stomach. Kai tries to kick, but he stumbles after receiving a counter-kick to the head. He still gets up, but Tishi pushes him to the wall with a palm strike. Seeing this, the other students understand why Siegel chose Tishi as representative. Siegel warns the class that magical beasts will show no mercy, therefore everyone will have to use full strength. Lux analyzes the fight and realizes that Kai abandoned defense from the beginning and attacked, which led to his defeat. After sparring, Kai asks if he is okay, but Kay remains silent. Siegel understands that he is angry and announces that every student must tame at least one magical beast in the tournament. Otherwise you will be thrown out of the department. After Siegel leaves, Lucas advises Kay to improve his defense, but Kay suddenly reveals that he has a crush on Tishi because she is the first girl who kicked him out. He even says that he has even thought of names for their future kids. Larkers realizes that Kai is a hopeless masochist. The next day the students reach the arena and are stunned to see its size. Let's go! Kai is shocked to see the roaring beasts below. Greek students get angry at the martial arts students, but Siegel defends his students and tells everyone to pay attention to the rules. Lucas is surprised that Siegel stood up for them. Kai was nervous, but Lux advises him to fight the beasts as seagulls and focus on defense. Siegel, listening from a distance, realizes that Lux is very sharp at giving advice. After some time the examiner comes and announces it says that the student who tames 10 magical beasts will get a perfect score and the student who kills the beasts will have points deducted. The examiner tells that the time limit is 10 minutes and if anyone gets injured, they will have to shout loudly to call the teacher outside the arena. After explaining the rules, he starts the tournament and asks the first group to enter. Julia is the first to enter and notices that the test area is covered with a space barrier. Then he understands that such small how magical beasts were kept in the building. As soon as he goes inside, the beasts start crying at him, but Julia gets excited and releases a lightning wave and starts the fight. Outside, the examiner explains that the tournament's beasts have been dosed with a special magic potion and as soon as a beast submits, vivid smoke rises from its body. Teachers were tracking the situation inside the barrier with the help of magic circles, due to which the taming count and score of every student was known. Only 3 minutes later Julia comes out with a perfect score. She runs to Linda and Linda praises her for finishing in just 3 minutes. Julia asks about her brother and Linda tells him that the martial arts venue will be number 10 and he will be called last. So Julia goes to get snacks. On the other hand, Iowa was also curious whether Larkers would show anything extraordinary again. After almost 2 hours, the martial arts students were still waiting. Kai was nervous, but Lucas says that due to ability martial artists are not inferior to mages in this matter. Hearing this, Siegel stands up and claps and tells the students not to underestimate themselves, that level 1 beasts cannot harm humans and that martial artists are superior to lower level mages in physical strength and close combat. The students found Siegel's encouragement strange but also good. Tashi returns and tells that no one has been injured yet. Most people are tired of using too much magic. She also explains that the movement of the beasts is restricted by barriers so that the students do not get surrounded and can change locations if they want to find a weaker beast. Hearing this, the students become happy and start praising Tishi. Siegel was happy in his heart that he had chosen the right representative. Then Greg arrives and makes fun of the martial arts class, says that they will only get grades through cheap methods and maybe the department will be destroyed. Larkers gets angry after hearing this because he doesn't care about his bullies from past life come to mind. He stands up and tells Siegel that he wants to enter first because he was first in the entrance exam. Siegel asks if he's nervous, but Larkers says that he will answer everyone by bringing excellent results. The class begins to cheer in support, and Siegel realizes that his students are no longer as punctual as before. After 10 minutes, Lucas enters the venue. As soon as he steps inside, he notices that there is a detection magic circle above. Larka's understanding it is said that if he avoids that circle during movement, teachers will not be able to know what is happening inside the barrier. He also knew that when a beast accepts someone as its master, a soul connection is formed and temporary use of abilities is also possible. Yoru was playing in the cave. Then he realized that Larka's was using his aura. Larka's covers himself with Yoru's aura and all the magical beasts start running away in fear as they think a high-level beast has arrived. This is the luck. There was a strategy. Breaking their will and cornering them mentally. Due to Yoru's aura, beasts started submitting quickly, but Larka's did not want to go out until all the beasts submitted. That magic potion also stops the smoke from going out. After getting an owl beast to submit, Larka's says that they will meet again, but the poor beast was crying in fear in his heart. 5 minutes pass and Luck's score still hasn't been announced, which upsets Kai. Then Julia comes and says that worry, do not do it. Luck will also bring perfect score. Greg takes this opportunity to make fun of the martial arts students, saying that they cannot defeat even the weakest beasts, so the mages are superior. Julia immediately stops him and tells him not to make fun of her brother. He can't use magic but is amazing. Greg is shocked that a table is defending a martial artist and says the results will speak for themselves. Just then an announcement is made that Lux has gained 1 point. Kay becomes happy that she will remain in the department. Greg makes fun of them. But after some time an announcement comes that Lux total has reached 5 points. Greg is shocked that this is equal to the highest score in his class. Inside the venue, Larkas had understood that all the beasts had been intimidated and it would be easy for his classmates to take points. Now he decides to get the perfect score himself and rapidly tames all the beasts until his score reaches 10. When Lucas comes out, Greg's mouth remains open. Julia happily hugs him, although he was already sure that Larkas could do it. Greg immediately objects and says that no martial arts freshman can get a 10 beast submission. He is suspicious of Sigil. But the chief examiner comes forward and asks Greg if he is calling the examiners corrupt. Greg immediately backs out and changes the subject to say that the dummy breaking in the entrance exam was also suspicious. If Greg raises questions about the integrity of the examiner suggests inspecting the barrier space. Kai can't believe that a martial arts student with perfect scores is under so much scrutiny. Larkas calmly says that they don't need to worry because he has nothing to hide. The barrier is opened after about 10 minutes. The beasts try to escape but are quickly controlled. The examiners believe that the beasts are agitated, but not so much that the venue has to be changed. The chief examiner says that the Lux points were obtained legitimately, although there was definitely something strange in the behavior of the beasts. In the end, it is decided that the tournament will continue and the 10 beasts tamed by Larkas will be placed under inspection. Larkas was a little disappointed that even after inspection people could not believe his capability, but he knew that the real surprise was yet to come because now it was the turn of Tishi and the other students. Tishi enters the venue with determination and thinks she will do nothing less than Larkas. But as soon as the beasts see him, they remembering Larkas or they get scared and start submitting without fighting. Tishi is surprised that level 3 Dark Wolf also submitted without taking a hit. She thinks that maybe martial artists are not as weak as people think. Within a short while she also comes out with 10 points. After this, sharp corners and then Kai also achieves perfect score. By the end, all the students of the martial arts department reach the upper rankings with perfect scores. Sigil gives a small smile because all his students had performed brilliantly. Later the headmaster and examiners examine the beasts, but no abnormality is found. The chief examiner speculates that perhaps the beasts were already frightened by the attacks of the mage class, and the close combat of the martial artists increased that fear. The headmaster suggests that next year martial arts students should be allowed to commit first, but this year's result will remain the same. The Greek says angrily that it means the martial arts department has left behind the major classes and has come to the first place at par with the elite course. The headmaster confirms this and asks if he has any objection. Greg is forced to refuse, but says it happened because of luck. Then Otani interrupts and says that luck is also a part of ability and the results of the students cannot be changed because it is not their fault. The headmaster agrees with Otani and announces the results to the teachers and examiners. Asks to do. Greg is burning inside and silently swears that he will remember this day. The headmaster then asks Otani if he is a level 9 martial artist, so perhaps he would have understood the real reason. Otani replies that he cannot give details but does say that it is not bad for the school. In fact, Otani had decided to keep quiet about Larkas' true power because Larkas wanted the same. Sir Kay and the rest of the martial arts students were celebrating getting a perfect score. Laxasara gives credit to Sigil and says it was because of his special training. He does this deliberately so that no one suspects him. Kai asks what everyone will do with their 21st place bonus points. Sharp says he will save points because he has to feed meals to Kai. Kai says that it is best to buy high-level materials so that they will have an advantage in next month's combat training. Larkus is surprised to hear the mention of combat training. Then Kay told him about Alan Tartell's. This is the special trial ground of the school, where there is a phantom world in which magical beasts, beast people, and even giants are found. Because they are phantoms, students do not die but get real combat experience. Only 100 freshmen can get in and 12 elite course students get automatic slots. Therefore there is competition for the remaining spots. Kai explains that selection is based on taming tournament rankings, and due to perfect scores he is confident that they will be selected. Sharp and Collins leaves saying he is going to the material shop. Lucas is happy to see that martial artists are really working hard to become stronger. Kai asks Larkus to go too, but Larkus refuses and shows the pendant given to him by Sigil. The pendant looked like a beast tooth and was only given to the 3 people who achieved the perfect score. Kai jokingly says that if the order had been different then Tichi would have got the pendant, and Larkus smiles and says that he has good luck. Kai then goes towards the shop. Meanwhile, the table department learns that all the students of the martial arts department have achieved perfect scores, which makes them furious, especially people from Greek class. Leia angrily says that her dream was to remain on top for 3 years and come to the top after the elite course, and her father has worked very hard for this goal. Then another student comes and tells that the spots in Island Tower have also been taken by martial arts students. A student tries to calm them down, but Second says the martial arts department may have bribed the examiners. Hearing this, many people start agreeing and remember that Kai is from a very rich family, hence bribery seems possible. Then a glasses-wearing Andre explains that he just saw Sharp and Collins leave the material shop and purchase the last of their training equipment. He says that when they get 20 points bonus, they will also buy all the precious materials. Leia then says that the meridians of martial artists are very fragile and can be easily damaged. She plans to tease them, and after a while they surround Sharp and Collins. Sharp is the first to fall, and when Collins sees the wound on his back he realizes that he has been poisoned and needs immediate treatment. Collins tells them that he is ready to give all his points. But Leia again drops her with a poison shot and says that she does not want points. Collins asks why are they doing this, so Leia tells that her demand is very simple. Both of them return to the martial arts department in the same condition and say in front of everyone that their lives are worth less than that of a weak insect. Several hours later, Lucas and Kai were searching for Sharp and Collins. They call their names in Yarad. Luck was very bad, while Kai was thinking that they might just be late. But Larkus says the situation is different because he smells a very strong blood smell on the way. Suddenly he senses the source of blood and starts running in the direction. Shocked, Kay runs after him, and moments later they find both Sharp and Collins lying in the bushes, covered in blood. Larkus's anger immediately flares up and he asks who did this. Collins uses his last bit of strength to reveal that Greg's class was attacked by Leia and her classmates. As Larkus sees that even his meridians have been damaged, his anger increases further. Kai gets scared, but Larkus says he's alive, just unconscious. He gives medicine to Kai, sends to fetch, and tries to stop the bleeding himself. After Kai leaves, Larkus looks carefully and realizes that his bones are broken in many places. This was the bone-crushing technique of black market assays. Larkus swears that he will avenge this cruelty as it was not bullying but attempted murder. Sharp is calling out for his mother in pain and Larkus assures him that he will get revenge. After some time Kai returns taking Tishi with him. Tish is shocked but Lucas says there is no danger to her life. Thus he will have to rest for several days. Tish angrily says she will complain to the student council. But Kay says that even teachers turn a blind eye. Larkus says in a calm voice that he doesn't care and his facial expression suddenly changes. Tishi understands that Larkus is serious now. Larkus clearly says that he will settle this grudge at any cost. The next day, Lacus demands a duel with Thoud in the student council room. He says they want an apology if they win and they will give their S-rank bonus if they lose. Thoud says no proof. He says that Greek students are guilty and throws away the pendant, saying that it is useless. He suggests that something more valuable be put at stake for the duel. The losing side of Alan Tau qualification will lose entry altogether. Larkus immediately agrees. The duel is fixed after 2 days and the news spreads throughout the academy. Many freshmen who were angry at the martial arts department begin cheering for Greg's class. Greg also praises those who attacked Sharp and Collins. Second and Siegel remains silent but makes the training more rigorous. On the day of the duel, the arena was already filled with students and as expected most of them had come to support Greg's class. Leia opens her mouth as usual and tells Larkers that with so many people watching he can still step back or else he will be humiliated in the arena. Larkers replies in a calm tone that he does not know how the match will end. The referee signals both sides to prepare. Martial arts Kai is the first to enter the arena on behalf of the class and is confronted by Andre. Kai dashes forward as the match begins. Andre attacks with ice magic but Kai deflects the sub. Andre is shocked and Kai mockingly asks if he used his full strength. Kai did not know that Andre had already set a trap. Suddenly jointed ice spikes come out and Kai gets trapped between them. Andre confidently says that there is no way to escape now. Shrinking ice spikes and pierces Kai's body. Bleeding starts. Andre boasts that this is the result of provoking the table. Leia laughs loudly outside the arena and calls Kai trash. She also tells Larkers that if he gives up now, his life will be spared. Larkers glares at her and asks how long will she keep talking nonsense. Inside the arena, Andre approaches Kai. Then he realizes that Kai's hand is burnt with lava slime. Seeing this, Leia screamed for Andre to run away. The next moment the lava explodes. Andre escapes by jumping back, but he was shaken. In the smoke of the explosion, Kai sneaks up behind Andre and cuts his underarm with a knife. Andre retreats in pain. The audience is stunned as Kai's legs were completely charred. Everyone does not believe that Kai escaped from the ice breeding by injuring himself. All this was according to Lucas's advice. Andre angrily performs a long-range attack, but again lava slime blasts it in the middle with jelly. Taking advantage of smoke, Kai attacks Andre. Andre creates an ice barrier out of fear, but Kai breaks it with a punch. Kai comes closer and laughs, saying that he hates ice users because they end up making mistakes. Andre starts screaming, but Kai headbutts him, breaking his glasses and knocking him out. Andre crashes into a wall and cannot believe he lost to a martial artist. Kai comes out as the winner. Coming closer to Larkers is happy on his victory. Larkers throws him a recovery potion. Kai says he has been in unusually peak condition all day today. What she didn't know was that Lucas had mixed homemade ability enhancement drugs into her breakfast. After Kai's victory, Tishi goes to the arena for the next match, where he will encounter Leia. Kai is nervous but Larkers assures him that Tishi will be okay. Leia in the arena thinks that Andre only lost because he used all his strength against Kai of Troy family didn't put it. Hearing this, Tishi becomes furious as she cannot believe that no one is willing to accept that Kai had won through skill. She is thinking this when suddenly Leia makes a surprise attack. Tishi somehow dodges it, but she understands that if she had been hit, she would have been badly injured. Leia laughs and says that martial artists talk about moral principles, whereas mages are only concerned with results. Leia attacks again, but this time Tishi was completely prepared. She easily breaks all the attacks and reaches Leia at full speed and punches him on the face. Leia is surprised that despite being level 1, how is Tishi so fast? Before Leia can understand anything, Tishi holds his hand and starts explaining to him the real meaning of the principles. She presses his arm and says that martial arts understands the value of human life, unlikely trash mages. After this, Tishi quickly blows several blows on his body and especially on the Meridian's targets. Within a few moments, Leia falls unconscious. The entire arena stunt remains and the martial arts department gets another win. Later it is revealed that Leia also had poison needles, but Tishi did not give her a chance. It is also revealed that Thowd was the one who gave her this permission, which makes Mina very angry. But Thowd brushes off the matter as trivial. There was now chaos in the arena because no one thought that the martial artists would show so much dominance. Third, the opponent who was going to fight Larkers was now nervous himself, but he had confidence in his dangerous technique. As soon as the match starts, he quickly moves towards Larkers. He was trained in physical techniques and thought Lucas would not be able to track his speed. Tishi notices that Lucas is not moving, meaning he is focusing on defense. Lucas wanted to test his opponent. That's why he suddenly comes forward and throws a punch but deliberately misses so that the opponent moves back. Opponent recalls knife thrown away and he returns and cuts Lucas's neck, but Lucas doesn't move at all. The opponent arrogantly says that no one can tolerate his bone-crushing technique and moves to attack again. As he approaches, Lucas steps aside and says that he will not go unpunished. The opponent is shocked that his technique was ineffective. Kay becomes worried outside. But actually Lux had the situation under control. The opponent comes from behind to deliver the finishing blow. Then Lucas grabs her hand and says that now it is his turn. Lucas hits the ground hard with one foot, raising a cloud of dust and blocking vision. The opponent is horrified that Lucas can generate so much power with just one leg. Amidst the dust, Lucas throws him to the ground and pierces his hand with his own dagger. The opponent screams in pain and Lucas asks in a cold tone, "How are you feeling now?" when that same weapon is being used against him, just as it did with Kunz and Sharp.